Welcome to Bible Journeys with Jen and Jamie.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Jamie.
And we're so glad that you have decided to join us for the ultimate road trip this summer, where each week we'll travel to a new place in the Bible and check out what happened there. Ready? Let's jump in. Look at that. We're in the Mount of Olives.
We're at the Mount of Olives.
Whoa.
Such a beautiful landscape.
Very beautiful. For those of you who don't know, we are on a ridge just to the east of Jerusalem. It is separated from the city walls by a ravine and the brook Kidron. So,
kind
Kidron
of
Valley.
Natural barriers for us between the city walls, but then also the ravines and the valleys there. It was here that David wept and then ended up walking barefoot up the entire mount. While he was fleeing his rebellious son Absalom, he was so distraught that he took up the mountain barefoot, which, I mean, was a fairly normal way for them to travel in those days. I was going to say not more common than for us, but I mean, still significant.
Here, King Solomon used these Mount of Olives for idol worship. So he was using its high mountains as a place for Chemosh, the god of Moab and Moloch, and the god of the Ammonites. King Solomon, you should have known better.
Smart, but still had his moments. The prophet Zechariah actually wrote that God's feet will stand on this mountain and split it in two in the end times as a warning to the people.
Yikes. I think we should all listen. God means
business.
Serious. Mount of Olives is also the home of the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus prayed here in deep anguish the night before his crucifixion. It was also where Jesus's disciples, couldn't even wait up with him while he prayed. They fell asleep. One of the most important things of Jesus's life.
Yeah. And here he also sat and taught his disciples about the future, about the end of the age, about what was to come after he went up into heaven.
Speaking of going up into heaven, it was after the resurrection that from the Mount of Olives, Jesus rose back up into heaven on his ascension. So when the disciples got to see him leave, this is where they did it. Mm-hmm. So there we go. Well, now that we've seen what happened at the Mount of Olives in the past, let's fast forward and see where we are today. Here we go. Look at that. We're still on the Mount of Olives.
Still on the mount. Still on top of a mountain.
We are on the peaks of the Mount of Olives. Anyways.
Something that, this is totally random? Outside of normal, okay. But outside of our script.
I'm shocked.
What's more shocking is that we have a script. In my head, I think of mountains and I think Colorado mountains. So when we talk about climbing the Mount of Olives, Jesus climbed up the mountain to pray. Or Jesus climbed up the mountain to preach his Beatitudes. That's not what these mountains are. These mountains are manageable to climb up to. So when we talk about the Mount of Olives, or we're going to talk soon about how it's part of 3 peaks.
Okay.
We're not talking here's Pikes Peak and then here's another peak that they had to this 14-day journey.
So would mounds more appropriate?
Rolling hills, you can still climb them and talk down to the people below you. Your voice would have, definitely a larger hill than, what we're used to in our backyards. I wouldn't probably, sled down it because it would go, very far. But, manageable to take, a donkey.
So Jesus isn't rock climbing up to
Jesus isn't, rappelling down the mountains or, going up and, the elevation changes so much that the temperature difference is 40 degrees different. We're not talking
snow.
Those type of mountains.
No snow on the caps.
Mount of Olives would have been a place where you could still grow trees. You're not going above the tree line or anything like that.
Good to know. Thanks, Jamie, for that random fun fact.
I just, your brain, that's what I think of when I think mountains, and that's not these type of mountains, but still significant hills.
You also now know that when we work together, this is how our brains work, and they're all over the place all the time.
Yeah. So anyways, Mount of Olives.
Welcome. Of Olives.
We're still here.
It is one of 3 peaks in a mountain ridge that runs for about 2 miles just east of Jerusalem in the Kidron Valley. Mm-hmm. The peak to the north is Mount Scopus, and the peak to the south is the Mount of Corruption.
It sounds so ominous, doesn't it?
It does. It was most likely named that for the idol worship that King Solomon was, practicing and promoting.
Oh yeah, when he's just throwing idols up there.
Yeah. So you definitely don't want to go near the Mount of Corruption.
No.
Mount Scopus.
Or the Mount of Olives.
And Mount of Olives.
Right in the middle. All three monotheistic world religions have cemeteries in this area. So monotheistic, one God.
Because they were climbing the mountain.
Because they were climbing this massive mountain. All three monotheistic religions. So Christian, obviously we worship the one true God. Jewish, God the Father. And Muslim worships Allah. But because it's believed that this is where God would return on the Day of Judgment and raise the people from the dead, it was popular at the time for all three of these religions to have their cemeteries there, thinking that these would be then the first ones raised from the dead, or that it would just be like only those in this certain area would be raised from the dead.
It's a very interesting thought process. We don't have the time or energy to get into that because
That's a whole other rabbit hole.
Everybody's getting raised from the dead. But there are still olive trees in the area. However, none of them are from Jesus's time. So I guess the fish that I got from Mrs. Roglin when she traveled, and I got the Jesus fish made out of yes. It's probably not authentic, huh? I mean, it's authentic to the area, but not from like Jesus's.
I was going to say it's authentic olive wood from the Mount of Olives, but to be like Jesus touched this wood would be a no.
Would be a no. Didn't you know why? Because the Romans cut all of the trees down, in Jerusalem in the year 70 AD.
Oh, well, there you go.
So
still olive trees, still a place that Jesus walked, just not trees that are 2,000 years old. Well, I guess they're close to 2,000 years old.
That'd be impressive, though.
Right? There are many churches within the area there that are related to the history of both the area and the Bible and things that happen within the Bible. So if you ever go, lots of different churches that you would be able to visit and see. Whether or not they are authentic, the places where those things actually happen, nobody truly knows. But still a lot of history that would connect you to the area and the time.
There you go. So join us next week as we travel and climb. Pack your backpack, Jamie. We're going to the Mount of Olives. Now that I know I don't have to climb. Now I know I don't have to climb a Pikes Peak or anything. So. All right. Well, join us next week as one of our last weeks.
Summer's almost over.
It's so crazy how fast this summer went, but yet it seems so long ago that we started this. But
well, when you're hiking for 3 months, it's a long time.
As always, we have something new and exciting coming up, so we hope that you'll continue to join us. But don't forget to join us next week as we visit our last place here on Bible Journeys. See you then.